And we are live Monday, December 29th. We are getting to the end of 2025, and we are here, NBA Live before lock. Massive slate. Everything locks within an hour, save for one solitary game on the late night hammer style that isn't on this slate, at least for DraftKings. We got a lot to break down. We got a ton of news already, which was shaping up to be a really weird live before lock. It's not as bad now as it was going to be, but hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. I am Josh Engleman. That is Eric Lindquist, and you've got us for the next 55 minutes, and then NFL starts up. What's going on, brother?
Well, we just got consumed by the fact that you're building out some of the coolest shit ever. I mean, the stuff that we can do these days, it just blows my mind. But the stuff you specifically can do and the way that you're putting it all together for the people for free over on Tails, to check out Prize Picks, to check out some of the DFS content you've been putting together. I know the perfect lineup is just kind of like the inception point of what you've been doing with Laffy here. But like, guys, go to Tails, go check out what Josh is doing, because it's about to get way cooler than any other shit that I've got available, than anybody else has got available. Like, I'm going to start sniping all of his shit or ask him to do some stuff for me, because I can't tell you how I'm excited about like 99.9% of the stuff that he's doing and like 0.1% of the stuff I'm doing. So please go give him a follow over on Tails.
I appreciate that. I'll build that at anything, man. The world is our oyster nowadays. Stephen Liebowitz said Engleman is a mad scientist in Excel. And Excel is like so 2000 late now. I don't open it ever unless something's going wrong and I have to like make a change very quickly. I'm never in it. It's crazy. The skill set that I have now is going to like evaporate from my body, which sucks.
Could you imagine if you were a coder 10 years ago, going through school, doing everything correctly in your life? You stayed home, or like you were just a great student. You got everything set up, and now people can click a couple buttons and do everything that was once upon a time.
I'd be so excited, because I think that I would have just got there early, but you never know.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the way that they feel as well, because like, I don't know, it's still something for me that I'm getting used to. I've built out some fun stuff of my own too for pick'em calculators, but it's more of just like assessing what exists. You're creating like a new way of assessing lineups, assessing Prize Picks cards, assessing fantasy in general. So I'm really excited about it and excited to see where it goes. So yeah, give him some encouragement and don't fluff him too much like I'm doing right now, because otherwise he turns into an asshole. So it's fine.
That's pretty true. We got a hell of a day on our hands here. The top 3 owned players right now on this table. We'll even go top 4 since there's some synergy here. One set of these guys, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, sounds super obvious. Jokic is exceptional. Murray has been great this year. No surprise whatsoever to see both of those gentlemen pulling some ownership. The next 2 guys up come from Atlanta, and they are not Jalen Johnson and Trae Young. They are flat 3K power forward center eligible Mo Gay and $3,800 potential trade candidate Zach Risachet. And Atlanta is missing Jalen Johnson, and they are missing Trae Young. They are also missing Kristaps Porzingis. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention during all of this, they played the Thunder today. Yikes. Let's start at the top with this one. And when I say start at the top, I mean Atlanta. How do you want to handle this? Because I think at least one dude on this list, Mo Gay, I'm going to be real surprised if he doesn't play a bunch today, whether it's going well or not.
That's the point, is that I think there's the guys who are going to be on the floor, him and Asa Newell, who could start and also close in a game that they're down 25 and they probably don't give a shit. Those are the kind of guys I think on this slate that I'm the most interested in. I'm kind of building a bunch of stuff over on the corner, doing some underdog cards, some other things. There's some profit boosts for people in the Lindy Discord today who have hit me up, and everything just kind of revolves around Atlanta. I just don't see how they completely fail. This feels like, you remember 4 years ago when Golden State had the one terrible year where Steph Curry was hurt, everybody's hurt, and they were down to like 8 guys, and they would routinely be the chalkiest team on every single slate, and they'd have like a 90 implied team total. And you were just like, what are we actually doing here? But it kind of fits the mold here. They've got the lowest implied team total you could ever imagine being chalky on any specific slate. They're 17-point dogs to the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road. At least one nice thing is that Oklahoma City is on a back-to-back. So, like, maybe there's a chance that we keep this one semi-competitive. But even if we don't, Krejci, Newell, Gay, those are the guys who are pulling the most ownership that I like. And then my favorite tournament plays are the ones on the Atlanta side if this game does stay close, because you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, all the usage and all the land available to him. Dyson Daniels, he's going to take over so much playmaking duty absent Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. You're going to get yourself into a spot where I could really talk about Okongwu being somebody to be way overweight to even at 0.8% ownership, just because of what that crazy upside looks like. He's got the largest standard deviation of anybody on the entire team, but he's probably a dude that at 1% could go out and put up 55, 60 and win you a tournament by him frickin' self at 7,800. I love this team. I just think you have to be very careful. I'm playing 150 today, so I'm really going to micromanage a couple of ways of that I'm utilizing them. I want to have some of those game scripts built out. I want to have some of those 4 Hawks in a close competitive spot kind of built out, and maybe a SGA and Chet on the other side, Jalen Williams. Like, this is such an appealing spot to just be way overweight to everybody.
I agree. It's terrifying. Like totally. It's funny because like for Moge, I'm largely unconcerned. Like his price tag doesn't matter. He's not locked into just center. I don't really care. Like, it's just going to largely work out. I'm not all that concerned with Risache right now either. Small forward,
Really?
Typically a position that I don't love filling.
I'm the most concerned with him
3,800.
if he's on the block. He's 3,800 though. That's the other thing.
Well, I mean, if he's on the block, I can't imagine they're going to just be like, here's 12 minutes today. Like, this is the time you're like, hey, this is what he can do when he's not behind Trae Young. This is a Trae Young problem, not a Zach Risache problem. Look, 3,800 small forward and they don't have bodies. That's the piece that's interesting to me. I like the Okongwu shout. 22% boom chance, no ownership whatsoever. And like what, 50% of the time this game is, 60% of the time this game is like ultra competitive and he just plays 34 minutes?
Yep. I really am scared about how much Atlanta, again, I'm building over on Underdog. I have so many different kind of constructions of cards. I'm looking for what piece I want on the other side of it for everybody, because, you know, sometimes people just want to tail one card as opposed to, like, for me, I want to play the 4 Hawks and I want to have like this revolving door of 5, 6, 7 other cards, you know, $5 a piece, fire it up, you stay below the limits, and you're keeping yourself in a good spot long-term for ROI. But like, I just have a lot of different lineups that are going to have 3, 4 Hawks. I just want to be careful about how I put them together. Not saying that you can't have Nickeil Alexander-Walker go nuts with, you know, Newell and Gay and be fine, but like overall, this is just a team that I think is popular, but I think Hassan Newell, if he starts, man, there's just no way I'm not going to be massively overweight to a 19% Newell right now, or a 46% Gay who could play 25 minutes in just about every scenario you could possibly come up with. It's just awesome. I guess my question is, do you have any Keaton Wallace interest? Because if he shuts this thing down, he can actually do some things. And I'm nervous that he's the one guy on the outside right now who isn't in my lineups. And I would really kick myself that a flat 3K Keaton Wallace played 24 minutes out of the middle of nowhere in a blowout script and just smacked around.
I don't have him right now. I don't like that, given the ownership, given the way that this game like he might play the whole fourth quarter.
Yep.
Depending on how this game goes.
And not against Alex Caruso, because Caruso isn't on the floor in that scenario. So
no, he might not be on the floor at all today. Not for anything relevant, at least. The problematic guy for me right now is a guy that isn't cheap. It's Dyson Daniels. Yeah. He takes on a lot of ball handling when these guys aren't around. I hate it so much. The Thunder don't cough the ball up at all. Dyson Daniels stinks on offense for what you need, but 7% owned right now. I'm getting him more than I'm getting like the Okongwu piece, more than I'm getting the Nickeil Alexander-Walker piece. Although, to be fair, I am over the field on Nickeil Alexander-Walker, so it's not like I don't have him.
He's a winning basketball player, and that doesn't do you a lot of good sometimes. Like, when you get in one of these spots where it's blowout, because you get concerned that like he's already gotten paid by Atlanta now too. He completely went nuts beyond anything we saw with him in New Orleans. And now that he's gotten there, like he might be first guy off the floor. But that all being said, I bet is over 25.5 PRA today. It was my first play, period. It's just, you put him in for 30 minutes and you see what happens with that. And then you slide it up a couple minutes, Josh, for like 32 to 33. And you're just like, all right, if this game stays remotely competitive and he has that third quarter rotation and you piece it together that way, you don't have Porzingis, you don't have Trae Young, you don't have Jalen Johnson. He is the assist guy within this grouping of dudes. He has to be creating for Risache. He has to be creating. And I looked at it at assist ladder. I just stayed the hell away from that and got a little bit queasy even looking at it because it's OKC. But like, sure, I do find it to be at least intriguing when you just say range of outcomes, or like when you look at, 53% implied probability for something at -114. And you're like, all right, I can bet this with pretty reasonable confidence that it's a good bet. At 6,800 at a position guard today that you absolutely have to smack around, I do feel very uncomfortable as well from a DFS perspective. And that being said, I have a lot more than 6% of him right now, 28%. But again, I'm massively overweight to every Atlanta Hawk period.
I am way over on Gay, Daniels, neutral Vit Krejci, over Nickeil Alexander-Walker, neutral Azanul right now. We'll see if that looks any different shortly. Mildly light on Risache, but I'm going to be giving him another minute before I run my stuff again, and I think that'll probably handle my issue.
There's no scenario where he closes like massive blowouts too, right? Like that was the main thing me thinking about is like, we haven't seen it, but now they're losing primary guys. I can't imagine he's out there over a Keaton Wallace or like Luke Kennard probably isn't even cleanup duty. If we're being honest, like you're probably just going to 10 minutes. Oh, you think it will be?
It's going to be, if it's bad, it's going to be Keaton Wallace, Luke Kennard, Caleb Houston, Malik Williams, and someone else, whether that's Krejci, Moge, Azanul, or Risache.
It just helps that there's only 11 dudes, that it's just, there's not that many combos that you have on the back end of that bench. So how many Hawks can we play in one lineup? Lots. I'm looking at potentially 5 in some. 4 is definitely in play. The price tags are so cheap. The script could go completely
I mean, realistically,
horrendous.
the answer is 2. Like, that's the most popular answer.
Yes. Oh, for sure. 2 is the most. 3 is probably going to be where I'm closer to based on my exposures. Just seems like a team that I'm leaning into hard. Don't forget this too. We don't know what random news could pop up in that hour in between, but by backloading and having a lot of Atlanta as is, you give yourself that extra hour. And Phoenix, Washington, Milwaukee, Charlotte, we'll get to see what those lineups look like for the most part. But like Charlotte with Zion Jameson isn't nearly what it could have potentially been. It's just an annoying guy to have kind of thrown into the mix there. And Golden State, Brooklyn, we got Steph Curry in already. So like, I'm not saying that there is for sure something that's going to break one way or another. I guess Toronto has a couple of ways that they could choose to go with their starting lineup here. We didn't see Sandro start yesterday. I assume that he starts today with Wendell Carter and Paolo Banchero in that front court. But
yeah,
I think that you get that extra hour, and I can trim some of the Atlanta if I really, really want to, but some of the tags are too good, and then some of the tournament plays are too undeniably good if it does stay close.
Here's a peek at the FanDuel side of this one. And when it comes to DraftKings right now for the Atlanta side, there's like 150% ownership to these guys, which means basically you pick a random lineup, they're going to have 1.5 Hawks in it. So 1 will be likely, 2 will be very, very likely. 3 or 4 is a bigger stack than what we're showing from the ownership right now, but it will look good because I think those guys look good. I do think we want to talk about the opposite side of this, though. There is no ownership whatsoever coming into Oklahoma City. 7 to Shea, 2 is the most to anybody else. Do you want to try to get pieces of Oklahoma City if you're going to have this much Atlanta?
Completely depends. One of the reasons I like Atlanta so much is AJ Mitchell is questionable. And AJ Mitchell being questionable gives you, I believe, a potential smack, an absolute smash in Cason Wallace, somebody who will start and potentially close. Having an opportunity to get to him where, Caruso isn't going to play a ton. I hate that Isaiah Joe's in to some extent here, but like Aaron Wiggins will look a little bit better. He's at 4,100. I think there's a way he could sneak in just because he's a good fantasy producer. But like, if you get AJ Mitchell out, I really like Cason Wallace as like the quote unquote run back, for lack of a better term. Like, I think he becomes interesting. And obviously, if I'm going towards those game scripts that are going to stay close, how would I not like SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren as like one of to bring along for the ride? Like, I don't hate that idea. And something you can do easily in the sim is build out stuff where it's like Atlanta 3, having one OKC, and just seeing what those top lineups are. Favorite 2, 3, 4 of those, put them into your lineup of 150, especially if you're not on this show right now. But like, I figured out how to do that in the NFL when I'm by myself doing things that I want to do in the background. So like, shouldn't be that hard for you to be able to find one or two of those lineups that really look like nice as like mini game stacks of sorts. But like, the point of the matter here is like, none of the OKC guys are going to look good, quote unquote good, but the minutes upside for a Jalen Williams or a Chet Holmgren, where they play 32, 34 minutes, as opposed to being, the 28, like they have a right tail that exists just by a game not going completely away from them. And that's always a good feeling in tournaments when you have those little pockets. And I think that exists with Na. I think it exists with Dyson Daniels. I think it definitely exists with the Kongwu in a spot where I think he could really, really rebound without Isaiah Hartenstein out there. And then Kenrich Williams going to play backup 5 today. Is that like literally their backup 5?
Brandon Carlson.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about Brandon Carlson. There you go. But
he'll be out there for something.
Got to start 2 games ago. So yeah, he'll definitely be out there as the backup. Yeah. But I like the idea of one of those guys. I doubt I need to get 2 or 3 in a lineup. It would just kind of be an unnecessary amount of stuff to bring, unless you're just leaning completely into it. But then the price tag at 10-3 for Shea becomes a bit of a problem to combine it with something else. Same thing with Williams, Holmgren. They're not exactly free.
Bam Adebayo in for today.
Yep, had that one going. So you were on Khalil Ware under as well. I almost pulled the trigger at 25.5 last night, and that came crashing down. Missed the boat.
Glad I got that one, but didn't work out for the Bagley side. Fox game time decision. Coach optimistic he'll be available. By the way, I have 1 share of Jalen Williams, and I don't have any other OKC, so it doesn't appear that I'm going to be going that direction.
What happens if you get now. Okay, yeah, if you get, how many minutes do we have in right now for AJ Mitchell? It was like 23 I saw earlier. Just to double check.
We have 22.5.
It's got to go somewhere. Cason Wallace.
Sure does. Sure does.
Yeah. Cason Wallace, probably my favorite OKC guy, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he has the opportunity to get a couple extra here in either direction, which would be ideal. He's the guy that I would like. I mean, obviously, like Shea is the guy I'd like to have if I'm going to have somebody, but I don't really see that coming. We have other guys that are getting a ton of ownership that aren't on Atlanta. Let's talk about 30% owned Nikola Jokic and 30% owned Jamal Murray against the fastest team in the league, the Miami Heat, and a Nuggets team that is down Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, other idiots that don't matter, but shorthanded nevertheless. 13K for Jokic, 8,500 for Murray. How you feeling about these two guys? Because they're not really getting this via people not being here. I mean, they are to a degree, but not in the way that like Mo Gay exists. I have 20% of both of these dudes right now.
I have way more Jokic than that.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, I have a lot of Jokic. It leans into the narrative of like, well, if I'm going to be playing a bunch of 3K Mo Gay, 3K Austin Newell, like all these dudes down in the 3K range, it's going to give me access to just get to everlasting gobstopper Nikola Jokic. He's just good. You can't possibly look at anything else. What do we have him for? 56.5 PRA today? It seems pretty good to me. Jamal Murray's been awesome, as you said, this year. This is not Canadian benched Jamal Murray that we are watching right now. out there on the
No.
floor. It's wild that was a thing that actually happened once upon a time. And we thought, hey, maybe Jamal Murray's done.
Yeah.
And now he's like been a top 5 efficient player in the NBA on the offensive side.
He's going to make an all-star game finally.
He's going to make an all-star game. He looks really, really
He's going to be the first, like, anybody good to ever play with Jokic on paper player.
Well, I will say this. Jokic made Russell Westbrook an NBA thing again, which I'm sure Jamal Murray doesn't exactly hate not having on his team anymore. So there's that.
I doubt it.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is kind of intriguing with positionality here. But yeah, as you said, you're getting everybody back in. We used to have some Peyton Watson Q tags kind of hanging out in the mist. Him and Spencer Jones starting next to each other. Nothing's all that appealing there. But off the bench, I mean, this is Miami we're talking about too. That's the other part for the Jokic. If I were going to potentially talk myself into like being below on Jokic, I'd have to find something else that's somewhat comparable, or like something else that I felt good about. There's really only one other spend up that I kind of quote unquote like today. And I want to see, where did his ownership go? Yeah, he's the most popular guy right now. Ant is the only guy 9K and above that I really, really, really like on this slate. And he's not that hard to get to. He's 9,300. He's playing the Bulls. A lot of the same reasons. You're just getting a pace-up, ridiculous spot. They had the most embarrassing loss of any team all season to Brooklyn. They got their ass handed to them at home against the Brooklyn Nets. And you know what Ant does after that? Ant goes completely nuclear. And he's going to do the same damn thing today. You're not going to see 22 shot attempts for Ant today. It is going up, up, up from there. And I love him, but like, there's nothing else that looks all that appealing. Like, there's a part of me that wants to play Wemby. He only played 28 minutes against the Jazz in that first start. They got ran out, which was a little bit weird too. But like, I just don't feel good about anything else. So it's like, well, Jokic is 13K and it seems ridiculous, but like, I have 80% of him right now in 150. I'm going to try to bring that down a little bit, but like, if I get 60 out of Jokic, I'm probably in an okay spot still based on the slate that we have before us, unless Wemby gets massive minutes. And then he's not owned enough for me to feel like I'm giving something else up. So like, I'm curious what you're doing in a lot of those lineups, how balanced they look.
So I'm with you in that I don't have much of this pay up. I don't have Giannis. I don't have Shea. I don't have Wemby. I don't have Brunson. I have 10% of Anthony Edwards. No Mitchell, no Curry. And then we get to where I am.
Giddy.
Towns in half my lineups. He's 30% owned. Giddy in 20% of my lineups right now. Probably paired pretty well with Ant. 30% Kevin Durant against Indy here. No Alperen Şengün. And then the one that I do hope comes down a hair, but don't mind if it doesn't. I have 40% of Devin Booker right now at 8,700, but he gets to face the Wizards, so I don't hate it.
Wow. That one's kind of fun. Do you have an Eagle Gillespie as well?
Not really.
Okay. I have
Iguodaro though.
Okay. I like the Iguodaro shout. Like, Sarr's going to be limited. You're going to get backup Marvin Bagley, and he should be starting. Iguodaro, as long as he's starting, is somebody that I definitely am with you on. But I mean, you never know.
Like, outside of Mo Gay, my most exposed guys are Towns, Booker, Durant, Amin Thompson. I feel pretty happy about those names being at the top of that list. This is a really difficult slate. There's a lot of talent at the top. If you start looking at it via boom score relative to ownership at the top, it starts to get like a bit more interesting. You got all these guys in like the mid to high 20s, upwards of 30, and then they're all just unowned.
Dude, look at Jokic's.
Like, why can't Brunson beat the brakes off the Pelicans? Like,
he totally
Brunson can destroy the Pels today.
Yeah, totally can.
Scary slate.
But yeah, again, I can't make a case for them being guys that I want to make a stand on or anything. Like, I have a couple lineups of Brunson, a couple lineups of SGA, a couple lineups of Wemby. Kind of talk through that one where maybe the minutes upside is there, and Mobley's still limited. We're not projecting him full freight on the other side, even though Allen primary guy there, but we'll see. He's 7'5" and he shoots threes and he blocks shots. He seems like a guy that, if he plays 30 plus minutes, he might want to take some shots on, but Yeah, it's just not that appealing on this specific slate when you have a guy in Jokic at 13K and a bunch of 3K guys that could walk into 25, 26 minutes. Just feels like a thing where no matter what I do, no matter how much I try, and somebody just said, you won't even cash with 60 from Joker, probably. Bet you I cash some lineups with 60 from Joker still, even in the event, unless somebody goes completely nuclear at major ownership elsewhere. I'd be curious what Josh thinks there too, but like his floor we have listed is at like 61 and change. So like I'm giving the bottom end range of outcomes, like ejection or injury type stuff for Jokic there.
If I had 80% of Jokic and he scored 60 tonight, I would want to drink all the chemicals underneath my sink.
Okay. I don't think I'd be that distraught about it, but you know what I'm saying. It's like,
I do.
If you have all the 3K guys go completely nuclear, that's almost more. I mean, that's obviously helpful and going to make up for some of it. If Jokic fails and then, Mo Gay plays 18 minutes and puts up 12 fantasy points, yeah, I'll probably drink bleach. That'll be fun.
Sam has the question. OKC is up $1 billion at the start of the fourth quarter. What lineup is Atlanta closing with? So we sort of touched on this before. My expectation is Luke Kennard, Keaton Wallace, Caleb Houston, Malik Williams, someone else in the Vit Krejci, Moge, Asa Newell, Risa Shea group. I'd say Risa Shea is the least likely. I would say Newell is probably most likely to me, unless he starts, at which point then I could see Gay just flip-flopping into that.
Agreed.
And realistically, I hope that it's Risa Shea, but
agreed.
Who knows? They might not want to just put him out there for that.
Yeah, Risa Shea might be the one guy that it's weird too, because I'm actually a defender of Risa Shea to some extent, where like his job in Atlanta is sit in the corner. Like if you watch them play offense, the guy
find him relatable. You guys sticking together?
Holy shit, dude.
One guy sitting in the corner to the other.
Holy shit. I mean, that has got to be the biggest nuke anybody's ever dropped on me in a show. That was I'm not even mad. That was impressive. Fucking prick.
I mean, you gave me that one. You know how to tee stuff up. You did it perfectly.
Wow, yeah.
McCollum, oh boy. All right, Wizards starting lineup. CJ McCollum, Trey Johnson, Jameer Watkins, Koulibaly, and Sarr. I did not have Jameer Watkins. I didn't have Watkins.
You probably want to, have unders on Champagne at this point. Good Lord of Christ. That is that's a name. That's a name.
Well, we had him for 12 minutes before that, so
that's going up.
Awesome. Yeah. He got like a spot start like recently, didn't he?
Yep. A long time ago. We talked about him facing Cleveland.
It was 10 games ago against Boston. Okay. They got beat by 45.
That seems bad. It seems bad.
He played 18 minutes in that start.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because we went pretty in depth about him for a quick second, and then it was like, all right, no, nobody's going to play this guy. We're not going to play this guy. We didn't, and it was fine.
All right.
He had 31.
I can't imagine. Yeah, I don't think that's going to matter for anything, right? That's not going to matter for anything.
I hope not. If it does, we're probably in trouble. But they have Malachi Branham now too. So like
they have 14 dudes today.
Yeah. Not worried about it. He would have to go nuts. I mean, the one thing you're fading is just him being able to be on the floor and going ape shit, but like he pales in comparison to Atlanta for him, because Atlanta, I know those guys are getting minutes, and cool. We got Iguodala for sure starting, which is always nice.
We had Watkins at 12 minutes and 0.62 fantasy points per minute, and I'm pretty confident we're not about to give him 30 minutes so he looks decent. So I'm not going to stress that. I was trying to talk about Phoenix, and then that news dropped, so it sent us a slightly different direction, but we
You're
will
not
be
playing
able to
Gillespie.
talk about Phoenix.
I love Gillespie
I mean,
today,
I
dude.
have some. Well,
I
they're
love
a weird
Jordan
team.
Goodwin
20% ownership to Iguodaro, 20% ownership to Gillespie, 20% ownership to Booker, 15 for Royce O'Neal, Jordan Goodwin, Dylan Brooks. Like, that's a real tough team to pick one or two people from. The benefit here is that they have a sea of MPEs for some strange reason. I'm also mildly interested in Nick Richards.
Man, I'm mildly interested in him too, but it just feels as though we're really I feel like
I cannot trust this.
into Malak being actually a thing today too. And do I need to take that shot? I mean, I get the thinking. I thought about him earlier, but oh god, Deuce McBride playing.
Deuce McBride in.
Do we get Kolek out then, or have you seen that news? Because he was.
If we did, it hasn't popped up on my watch yet.
Okay, I know we're
Just
sitting there waiting on that one still, but I assume this is just like completely irrelevant. I know it's New Orleans, but like Kolek and McBride, I mean, they were both going to play anyway. I guess McBride would just play less and probably becomes more of an interesting. I mean, we're already projecting insane minutes for Brunson, Bridges, and Anunoby. They're already kind of like old school New York Knicks last year tournament shots that you can take just because they're playing so much. But like, if you get Kolek out, I can't imagine that I play Miles McBride, but Jordan Clarkson at least becomes like somewhat viable.
Yeah, it's going to free up. And if Kolek's not out, obviously all those guys just cease to be useful in any way. Yeah. But if Kolek's out, then I think there's still room to fire at Clarkson or McBride. I'm not going to trust either one of them. I mean, they're going to get zero ownership. And I don't think McBride's going to fall into like any extra minutes, but Clarkson's got good positionality.
Somebody just said that you scorched my entire bloodline. Yeah, no, it was nice. It was nice. Nice vest for Christmas. Yeah, did your mom get it for you? She sure did. I love my mom, and that's fine.
What bloodline? He's in the corner.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's no bloodline. Somebody else is doing it.
Yep. Not even going to go in the delivery room before they switch out the baby.
No need. I don't think, at least.
Need. Good to know.
I could be wrong. Who knows? Who knows? All right. First and foremost here, we're 35 minutes in. We've got 1,800 people in the door that got to listen to that joke. So that's kind of exciting. Hit the like button if you enjoyed that. And if you didn't enjoy it, hit the like button anyway. But we'll be able to tell which one's which in the data on the back end. But realistically, you guys should just sign up at Stochastic right now. Why wouldn't you want to be here? Sims right now for the NBA. We're rounding ourselves into the new year. You can sign up at this moment, play NBA, and then Monday Night Football Showdown. You're in luck. We have an NFL Showdown show coming up after this, 7:15 Eastern. Lofty, Spags breaking down the final Monday Night Football game of the regular season for the NFL. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited. I love being on this show with you. I was not listening to you whatsoever. Sorry.
Heartbreaking.
Evil guy. Oh yeah, no, football. I'm very excited for the football game. Falcons, Rams. I'm really hoping the Rams lean into a little bit of Blake Corum in our lives. They don't have a ton to play for. I'm curious to hear what the guys think about that one, but Blake Corum's been like number 1 in estimated points per rush, 3rd in efficiency for anybody over 100 yards. It's just over 100 carries this year. Guy's been insane, and if they just want to put Kyron Williams on ice, I'd be all right with the second half being Blake Corum. Might be firing that one up later.
Where do you want to head here? You got any stands you're looking on? We're getting closer to a certain gimmick during the show that we could talk about, but we're not quite there yet. So who's sneaking through for you right now is like guys you're taking a bit of a stand on. It's not necessarily Nuke territory, but they're like tiny bombs.
Anthony Edwards. I very much value Anthony Edwards on this slate. You talked about having 10% of him. I have more than 10% of him. You walk into a spot after that evisceration, the ridiculousness there. There was a horrendous outing by my Timberwolves at home. Again, most embarrassing game that I've watched them play all year long. And now you get Ant, 9,300 against the Bulls, and a backcourt that can't guard you, me, or anybody else. An opportunity for him to just do whatever he wants here. I know McDaniel's been a little bit dinged up, which doesn't exactly help because, very, very important to this team. And Julius Randle, a little bit of him as well, but primarily just kind of looking at Ant as being a spend up that I can really get behind in some of these lineups where I'm playing a lot of these cheap pieces of value. And then I'm going to make a stand for Jordan Goodwin off the bench here as well. You talked about Washington. I really like the idea of Gillespie. I like the idea of Goodwin here. Goodwin been playing some pretty decent minutes. Rebound rate, a little surprising to me as well. You don't really have any strong rebounders that are out there whatsoever on the Phoenix side of it. You don't have Mark Williams here in this game suspended for it, and was kind of looking at ways of getting a little bit different. He walks into a much, much larger role. You have no Ryan Dunn. That definitely helps out a little bit as well. Pretty much everything going for Gillespie, who can just go out and beat up on anybody there, is definitely eaten up the assist rate that was assumed going to be Devin Booker's in this version of the Phoenix Suns. They've been a much better basketball team than anybody expected, than I expected for sure. But Jordan Goodwin's a great fantasy asset off the bench, taking on a Wizards team that is starting a guy named Jameer Watkins and a bunch of nobodies. So should be a pretty decent spot for anybody wearing a Phoenix jersey.
Jameer Watkins gets 21 minutes in our projections. Good enough for 14.7 fantasy points and 2% ownership.
Who?
Tyler Kolek in, by the way.
Okay, good to know, because I was going to potentially have some Clarkson built in, and I don't have to do that now.
We now have a super chat from Michael. He wants to know favorite play per position on FanDuel. Sure. So I've got it pulled up right now. Point guard. There are only two options here.
Yes.
You can put one at point guard, one at shooting guard if you'd like, but it's Jamal Murray and Colin Gillespie.
Correct. Gillespie, my favorite.
And then shooting guard is essentially the same story for Murray and Gillespie. Dylan Brooks, 25% owned, would sneak into that, or we hold him off for small forward.
Yeah, Jordan Goodwin, I'm playing one lineup on FanDuel. He's in it.
There we go. OG Anunoby is the highest owned guy on FanDuel at small forward, but he is right there with Tari Eason and Dylan Brooks. And then however you feel about a $4,300 Zachary Sachet.
Did we get the notice that Eason is going to be limited again today, or is that just something that we're going to randomly get right before that game starts like we did yesterday or 2 days ago?
I'm going to assume he's just like limited to mid-20s.
Okay. Then, yeah, it's still Tari Eason, but I just didn't see that alert whatsoever. Probably doesn't even matter because Dorian Finney-Smith exists now.
Truth. Power forward. Iguodaro has power forward center eligibility. He is the highest owned guy there now. Towns, if you're looking to pay up, also 30% owned, as is Anunoby, Peyton Watson, and Tari Eason. So pretty crowded power forward section, but I would say Iguodaro and Towns probably feel like the best combo.
Iguodaro and Gay as well. I like Gay as well on FanDuel 3,900. A little further down and not as necessary and useful as on DK, but 3,900 allows you to get to the Jokic at center.
And then for Jokic at center, looks totally fine. Musa Diabate, if you want to pay down at center for somebody that's just center eligible, I think that's probably the direction you're going.
Yep, definitely feel the same way. Yeah, don't have a lot to add on that one. I will say Steven Adams, still someone in play 4,400 is another punt, but DK, not going to probably be pulling the trigger on all that much when it's all said and done. But FanDuel, I at least entertained it.
Next super chat's from Langston. Murray and Ant or Giddey and Towns. Love the show. Happy New York.
I think you meant New Year, but yeah, New York. That's always good too. Yeah. Potato.
It's Giddey and Towns for me.
Cock and cuck. Murray and Ant for me.
Congrats on him getting married.
Yeah, the real great idea. Marriage is fantastic. We should all do it.
He's going to be using the camera too, I would imagine. Start one GPP. Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, System of a Down or Corn. That's going to be Limp Bizkit for me.
It's going to be Linkin Park for me. I know tons of them. System of a Down, probably close 1B. I really like System of a Down back in the day. I did Toxicity at a talent show one time. That was fun.
I am happy with all four of those, though. All of their best stuff is still in heavy rotation for me.
Yeah,
damn it, Ace of Spades.
Yeah, I remember some early Corn that I really liked too, but just what beat early Corn ever? I feel like Linkin Park sustained the longest out of everybody there, which is pretty impressive.
Well,
I'll give them the
I don't
nod.
know about that one.
Sure,
Sorta.
well, till the end, yeah. In the end, yeah.
And then it actually mattered.
Yeah, rip Chester. Sorry, bud. It actually mattered. That was a good one too. Woo!
I'm trying to get to the tiers for our friend Ace of Spades.
The toxicity of our city.
Jokic, Giannis, SGA, or Wemby. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I hope that's a joke.
2 of the 5 guys in tier 2 are out in Jalen Johnson and Şengün. So it's Donovan Mitchell, Ant, or Brunson. And I think that one's going to be Ant.
Yeah.
Giddey, Towns, Curry, Durant, or Banchero. That is Towns for me.
Towns for me. Yeah.
All right. Tier 4, Murray, Barnes, Porter, Booker, Randall, Porter again from Milwaukee, and Siakam. That's got to be Jamal Murray, right? Booker's probably pretty close.
I was going to say that might be a good pivot if you're looking. Again, we do the tiers as in favorites, but like it's not cash games. Like you're still thinking about a way of deviating, and that might be a pretty good one.
Dude, tier 5 is loaded. LaMelo, Castle, Amin Thompson, Brandon Ingram, Butler, Jalen Williams, Okongwu, and Chet. Dude.
There's probably one guy who's kept me from winning a GPP this year that I always end up overweight to. I'll say Amin Thompson, but like I've apparently never gotten Amin Thompson correct ever in my life.
That's my answer too. I have a bunch of them.
Fuck. Oh, I hate my life.
Tier 6, Evan Mobley, Sarr, Bridges, Charlotte Bridges, and New York Bridges, Bane, Garland, Brandon Miller, and Anunoby.
I'm looking at the projections here too.
It feels like Anunoby to me.
It's got to be close. It's how much do we have Miller in for as well?
I mean, obviously this would normally be Evan Mobley, but
that's not a thing right now, which is Anunoby and Miller are like identical to me, so one of the two.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Ace of Spades, for that one. All right, what else we got here? Any other super chats? Core plays on a DK GPP. That's pretty easy. Moge, Jokic for you. Towns for me. Moge and Towns are probably like my 2 cores. Yours are probably more like Moge and Jokic.
Okay, and Jokic. Yeah, I there's not a planet that I'm not jamming Jokic today. No matter what I do, no matter what I change, I'm just getting to tons of Jokic. So there you go.
Well, no matter what you do or no matter what you change, you also got to give us the nuke of the night. There it is, folks. Nuke of the nighttime. Our favorite play that is going to smash today's slate. And hopefully we're being interesting about it. I don't think you're going to take Nikola Jokic, no matter how confident you are in him today, but I do expect you to take somebody. Who is that somebody?
Yeah, we're going to go to the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they're obviously kind of exactly... They're what I'm doing everything with today, to some extent. Like, I can't get away from playing a number of these pieces, but I don't know if I've nuke of the nighted a 1% play ever. I have 30% Onyeka Okongwu. And
pause. You're not even nuking a 1% owned guy. He's at 0.47 right now. You're nuking a 0% guy that rounded down.
Let's go back in time 2 years, Josh. What was the major issue for the Oklahoma City Thunder once upon a time that they needed to shore up?
They had to get rid of Russell Westbrook.
Well, that too. But once upon a time, they could not rebound the basketball. They were dead last in offensive rebound percentage. They had so many issues. What did they do? They just took their genius front office. They took all their assets and they found themselves Isaiah Hartenstein, who's not playing basketball today. And then there's Jalen Williams, who's really, really good. Not playing basketball today, Jalen with a Y. I look at the ownership for this, and I look at what we've seen from Onyeka Okongwu, 269 minutes with no Porzingis, no Young, no Jalen Johnson, 22% usage, 17% assist rate, 18.4% defensive rebound rate, 11.8% total rebound rate, 1.05 DraftKings points per minute. And I think there's room for that to go up in a spot like this where there's just not a front court. I don't even think Oklahoma City's that interested in rebounding in this spot. There's so many ways that they can still win this game. But in the event that you get competitive game scripts in this, I'm playing him in single entry for what it's worth. I'm actually leaning all the way into this. I have a lot more than the field of Dyson Daniels, of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the nuke of the night, Onyeka Okongwu, 7,800, 50 burger incoming minimum.
Look, it's a great shout for somebody that can absolutely do that today. He's been playing a ton. Realistically, he can play that ton and then some today if the game is breaking the way that they need it to. And he is legit unowned. Even if that number comes in at 5, it doesn't matter in any way. I like it. Look,
it's terrifying.
The goal is to win the GPP. More often than not, OKC kicks the shit out of Atlanta, and Onyeka Okongwu is just not that great of a play. But when they win this game 25% of the time and are just competitive the other 25, and he plays 34 minutes, it's an interesting edge.
Yeah, it's a disturbing one. Again, I try to give advice on these shows, doing what I'm doing, and again, I'm always thinking of ways to get different in tournaments that aren't necessarily echoed, because otherwise the Sims are going to be smarter than anything that I can tell you specifically as far as your lineup construction, anything else. But like, if you can find the one way of deviating your lineups, and for me, that's just Atlanta playing semi-competitive in this spot, because there are very few bodies and there are tons of fantasy points. I mean, what would Trae Young and Jalen Johnson be projected for today? Think about all of that. And obviously, we're not expecting them to be as efficient or good as what they're going to be in spots, but like, that is getting trickled down to the rest of the team somewhere in some capacity. And like, even if you take 80% of the portfolio of Jalen Johnson and give it elsewhere, I really like Okongwu being a guy that could put up 25-20, like legitimately has that kind of guy in him today, which doesn't typically look that way against OKC, but no, Hartenstein, completely different.
I can't, like, is Anthony Black's like press team in our chat today?
Why does everybody want to play
like 1,000 Anthony Black messages today?
Yeah, he had one good game. He's also 7,100. He was like 5% owned on the last slate. I am worried that he gets to like 10, 12 out of the middle of nowhere, and we just get this built-in ownership. We've had him at 2% all day, and I still look at it, and I look at his rates, and I'm like, I get it. Paolo Banchero has to shoot the ball more than what we've seen in a couple of these spots, and Anthony Black got off to the hottest of hot starts on planet Earth last time. I don't care. I'm trying to be forward-looking, and I don't understand the Anthony Black love today.
Yeah, I don't particularly understand why anybody would be asking. I mean, we got him projected for like 35 minutes and no ownership whatsoever. I guess realistically he fits the like Onyeka Okongwu mold for today, but that's it, I guess.
Okongwu's 0.4%. That's by far the lowest guy that I've ever nuked of the night by leaps and bounds, actually. But, you know, maybe he ends up being 3-4%. Maybe me saying something gets a couple of other people onto him where, you know, again, I'm trying to, you play to win the game. Duh.
Sure do. Okay. I guess I got to give one of these out first. Last man in on DraftKings, Royce or Tari Eason is Tari Eason for me.
Yeah, going to be Tari Eason, who is still limited, but maybe we get the alert that he's not. And then you want to flock to him because he will look great if he's up to 28 minutes or something.
I've given this guy before, and it has worked out from time to time. I'm going to give him again. You mentioned him before when we were talking about tiers. I'm like 4Xing Amin Thompson right now. With no Şengün there, I just like the ball in his hands a bit more. Indy's dreadful at basketball. They're one of the worst teams in the league so far this season. Their center rotation just gives it up. I think he's going to be able to get to the rim a lot, and I think this is a very beneficial spot for Amin Thompson.
Couldn't agree more. 21% of him in my last run. I'm finishing up everything here right now. 46% Asanul is more Asanul than I wanted, but I did get to 15% Keaton Wallace, which made me very, very happy. Shout out the Sims.
Are y'all limiting ownership to the first games? No.
How much Iguodala did you end up with? Because he's like up to 23% owned now.
Right now I have 20%. I'm running one last little refresh here. Yeah.
11% Booker. I'm all right with that. 37% Ant this time around. I'm all right with that. I have so much Ant.
Thoughts on Jaquez? Not on my radar really today.
Not today. Now they just went from being such a available basketball team to get to being completely healthy. Like Ware was just free when there was no Bam. There were also absence, got like no Pell Larson, no Jaime Jaquez, everything else there. But now with everybody back, everybody looks pretty awful. And it's a 244 total. Like maybe something breaks your way. Maybe, Jaquez walks into more time, but like I'm seeing 27, 28 minutes for him everywhere. That's just not appealing on this slate.
No, it's not. Anybody we're missing? Anybody that we haven't talked about yet? Any Jalen Smith thoughts with no Zach Collins?
Okay. Jalen Smith, 19% of him, just a dude who's sub 4K. I saw him on your Prize Picks card too this morning for what it's worth, but like I looked at some of his props. I think there's a case to be made for it there too. Also, just feels like a spot where like maybe Vooch isn't just locked into close every single game in certain spots too. Like that's something that's randomly popped up at times, but I prefer, center Diabate. I talked about Okongwu as well. There's just so many of these dudes at center that we can just rotate through. And then there's, for me, the Jokic problem, which is if I'm going to go to center, I'm going to get something that can also put up 50, 55 in addition. It's not really Jalen Smith. So many power forwards to punt with, sub 4K Risashe to punt with. Like, I'm just not finding it necessary, but totally get the thinking. Again, 19%. I'm overweight to him right now, but I'm running one more sim here in the last minute, and I'm probably going to end up with less.
He's not a guy, like, I thought about him a lot this morning, and then he kind of just, like, evaporated for me, and I stopped getting to anything around Jalen Smith. I'm checking now to see if I still have like the 20% or so that I thought I had. Let's see. I have. Wow. Why is this taking? Come on, DraftKings. There we go. I have 25% of Jalen Smith now. Okay, I can handle that.
Love. Oh, this
I'm
is
not
great.
mad about that at all.
Keaton Wallace. I'm very happy. I'm just finishing that up. I'm ready to
Dude,
rock.
you are Team Atlanta today, man.
Yeah, I can't help it. I think it's the best tournament spot, and the games that stay competitive, or again, when you kind of like handpick a couple of lineups here or there, I'll be able to do some stuff after lock here too to make it look a little bit better in the way that I want it to. But like, I think it's just such an edge where you get these game environments that go one way or the other, and people are kind of building it out in the middle and, just kind of getting a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm just leaning into the pulls. I hope this game is either a 1 point OKC win or Atlanta win, or I'm hoping that it is a 40-point complete ass whooping. There's no in between for me there with that game.
Well, we have 1 minute left to go before we get out of here. I am hoping that everybody has hit the like button already. Reminder, NFL Live Before Lock going to be coming up in a little bit. They're going to be on at 7:15, taking you all the way to 8:15. Highly, highly recommend you're checking that one out. The final Monday Night Football game of the year. Everything's next Sunday, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And then we get into weird playoff slates. So keep your eyes peeled for perfect lineup videos for those playoff slates, because we'll probably have a bunch of them. I'm excited for this slate, man.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
It's weird. It's a good one for, like, if you want to take a stand, you could take a stand and not feel like it's a problem.
Agreed. I would say what makes it difficult is the 3K Mogay, 3K Keenan Wallace. Like, I think that's the annoying part of this slate. But as you said, I think it's weighed out a little bit. Who the hell's calling me? It's weighed out a little bit by the fact that, like, there are unowned pieces all over the place that I can make a really good case for. So, like, just hoping that they're good enough for us today. I don't need a crazy amount from Mogay, from Asanul, but, like, just don't completely leave me in the dust. That's what I need here is don't put up 10. Please don't put up 10.
Folks, we are locked. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow, everything is later than it normally is. Lock is at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So push everything out an hour for Tuesday's shows. Monday Night Football, Live Before Lock, coming up next. Anything else?
Nah, just check out Tails.bet. Going to have some free bets posted. Have one thing that I do want to post for the NFL game tonight too. So going to get to work on that here. But otherwise, pay attention to news. We could get something random. You could get a different starter for Atlanta. You could get something else coming up later here too. But if you have questions, hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist, or the best place, the Lindy Discord. You can sign up for that. Good stuff all over the place. Oh, look at that love. 237 people love us and tailing. Mike and myself and Ben Raza got a nice card there set up for you guys. Tri-Sport. We're 3 days away from New Year's. So check it out. Hit that follow button. Completely free to do so.
Later, y'all. Good luck tonight. Go Hawks. Caw-caw.